Helen, how are you doing? Today I thought I'd do another one of my vinyl folly videos where I look into the camera, talk about what an idiot I was, and then post the video on YouTube for the whole world to see. So last time I talked about buying this album here, the ultra rare first Japanese pressing of Elvis's second album. And today I'm going to talk about another very rare first pressing Japanese album. It's not quite as rare as that one, but if anything it's more collectible because it's a well-known Elvis album, but it has a completely different cover to the American version. And I'm talking about this little beauty here. This is Elvis's Christmas album, released in Japan at the end of 1957. So the cover, as you can see, is completely different. It's very Christmassy, with a deep red background, the Christmas tree and the Christmas baubles. And I especially like the font here. The font they've used here, it kind of reminds me of old 1950s movies. And also the green background to the Victor logo also looks very, very Christmassy as well. Now on the back cover, with Japanese albums, on the back cover you get the Japanese title across the top here. And sometimes it's just exactly the same as in English. Sometimes it's slightly different, and sometimes it's completely different. In the case of this album is called Presley Christmas Album in Japanese, so it's almost the same title. And you can see it has a series of photographs, and it also has Japanese liner notes, and the 12 tracks are the same as the American version, with the 8 Christmas songs and the 4 religious songs. And what I like about the liner notes is they actually refer to the photographs that you can see on the back cover. So the first picture up here, it shows Elvis with 2 young women opening a sack of mail, and the back cover explains that this was taken at the MGM studios, and that this is something that happened every day, and the MGM assistants would help Elvis open the mail. This was taken when he was recording Jailhouse Rock. The second photograph, you can see Elvis with a little kangaroo, a baby kangaroo, and the back cover explains that this was sent to Elvis by a fan in Australia. Elvis kind of looks a little bit bewildered in the photograph, so he's kind of not sure what the heck he's going to do with this baby kangaroo. But of course he famously kept a chimpanzee in the 1960s, so I'm sure he would have been able to handle a kangaroo. If anybody knows what happened to this kangaroo, please let me know. And then you have a couple of famous shots from publicity shots from Jailhouse Rock, and then Elvis at the drums. The liner notes claim that Elvis apparently played the drums a lot before recording sessions, or as it says here, he lays down a hot rhythm before the recording sessions. And the last picture is a fairly famous picture of Elvis and the guys in the studio recording the Jailhouse Rock soundtrack. So, and you can see Bill Black cracking one of his jokes, and Elvis laughing at the joke. And you can also see Elvis has the Fender bass in his lap, and famously Bill was unable to play the electric bass, so he threw it down and stormed out of the studio, which is a little bit confusing because here Elvis has got the bass, and as we know he played it on Baby I Don't Care, but Bill is also here, so presumably Bill stormed out and then came back again. So there you go, Elvis's Christmas album, 1957, Japanese original, very, very rare, very hard to find. Oh, the record, where's the record? What did I do with the record? I didn't buy it. And that's the big problem. That's the mistake I made. I didn't buy the record. Only the cover. So several years ago, I saw this cover for sale, and it was going for a very reasonable price. So I thought, I know, I'll buy the cover and then I'll buy the record another time. However, several years later, I still do not have the record. And there's a very simple reason for that. As I said before, this is a very, very rare album. if you go onto Discogs, there is a seller on Discogs who has 2 copies for sale, and he's asking about $2,000 or $3,000 for them, which is you know, a lot of money. So what's the lesson? The lesson is, don't buy half a record. Don't buy the cover without the record. Don't buy the record without the cover. It's much more difficult than you might think to get the other half. So, do I regret this? Would I rather have this cover, or would I rather have the money I spent back in my wallet? Well, to be honest, on balance, I'm glad I've got the cover. It's a nice thing to have, and it's nice to be able to show you guys. As I record this, it is December, and Santa Claus will be in town. He always comes to my house, but I'll be very surprised if he brings me the record to this cover. And if he does, you'll be the first to know about it. Thanks for watching. Take care.